ce la facciamo, non è un problema, non è un problema. Vabbè, facciamo un passo, almeno sappiamo chi andrà a parlare dopo. Ok? Col record a posto? Perfetto. Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this panel about RWAs, decentralized applications, and quantum computing. I have the pleasure to be joined here with two exceptional experts, Davide Costa, IT engineer, blockchain developer, and founder of Food Chain and Quadrants, and Professor Antonio Lagatta, quantum expert, researcher, and award-winning innovator across biomedical, defense, and energy sectors. So I would maybe start by asking you just a quick introductions of yourself to give a little bit more background. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Chiara. Thank you to the organization for being here. And I've been working in a blockchain space since 2013, started with Bitcoin mining and so on. And then immediately started working on the application of blockchain technology in the industrial world. So jumping immediately in what now is called with a huge narrative as RWA. It's something that I've been working for almost 8 years in different sectors, so the food and beverage, textile, energy sector, and so on. And now we are here talking about in this wonderful location, and thank you, Paola, for the invitation.
Yeah, thank you, Paola. Thank you, Chiara. Yeah, I'm in some technical table with the Italian government. So mainly into the table that is designed for the quantum strategy for the Italian government. And my personal experience is into the physics and math. Typically, for example, I'm an expert in the write and solving differential equations. And mainly and also mathematical technology for reduce the complexity of differential equation or problems. Then mainly this kind of problem reduction can be used for deploy the problems into the quantum computer. So that's
Perfect. Thank you very much. I would encourage one applause to our speakers to get started. Thank you very much. Perfecto. Okay, great. Thank you very much. So I think just like to get started, maybe to understand as well in the room, how many experts in quantum do we have here? Maybe just raise of hands. Okay. Well, that like study the basics. Okay, good. RWAs, they're like active in the space. 2 hands up. 1, 2. Okay. Decentralized technologies, I guess everyone has a good understanding more or less. Awesome. So I think let's start with Davide, with what's happening in the space right now. We know RWA and tokenization is basically everywhere. Companies are highly talking about it. Can you give us a quick snapshot of the current state of RWAs?
Yes, thank you. And beside the raw numbers about tokenization that can be between estimated between 50 and 200 billions in some those numbers I don't care about those numbers too much. I want to bring here in Napoli to NapulETH my personal experience across different Ethereum events. I've been talking in ETH Denver in February at the RWA Day. And then I've been the opportunity to be in Cannes for the ETHCC conference. And I can guarantee that this, as many of you has listened yesterday, is not just narrative, is not just hype, it's something that is happening. So my first statement is that. And I can say that because I saw with my eyes many companies, big companies, BlackRock, JP Morgan, Standard & Poor people, Ernst Young people from all over the world, talking about this and saying clearly that the process is already started. So it's not something that maybe could be in the next future. Companies are starting tokenizing everything basically. So we can talk about treasury bond, corporate bond, real estate, gold, metal, whatever. So It's matter of time that this will become, in my opinion, huge, so that listening to the RWA Day in Cannes, listening to the founder of Chainlink, Nazarov, he say that we are really, really early in this process. He was saying that we are at least between 1 and 2% of the potential 400 trillion markets. So it's something that I believe that is true. It will not happen tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, but in the next few years we will assist in something big, in a revolution, also related with the DeFi. So the RWAs will be strictly bonded to the DeFi, allowing traditional the merge between traditional finance and the blockchain space. That it's something that everyone will still waiting for years that would happen, and now it's happening.
Yeah, and I think especially when we see the potential of the market itself, so you said like 400 trillion is quite big, so we need to think about the infrastructure underneath as well, and indeed quantum may pose a cryptographic risk to the infrastructure itself. So maybe Professor, you want to expand on what the quantum threat is, or what is the state of quantum at the moment?
Yeah, basically, so it's very important to understand that the quantum computer is, so we are talking about quantum computer, but technically there are 3 different architectures. If you want to later, we can talk about all of 3 architectures, but the most important, in my opinion, which is the real threat for the application that we are talking about, are the quantum computer based on the Hamiltonian paradigm. It means that technically we are not to develop the computer like we typically hear into the TV show where we have the quantum gates. Then it's not this kind of quantum computer, but the one that is based on the Hamiltonian. Just for tell you which is the Hamiltonian, so this is not very quantum specialized audience, so pardon me if I use a very simple example just for tell you, so which is the basis of this kind of quantum computer. Imagine that you want to find out which is the deepest hole on the moon. Of course, there are many algorithms that can discover which is the deepest hole on the moon. Yeah, you can go and down, up. It will be impossible, and then that's the hole. But of course, there are many other holes close to the one that I right now found out. Well, the most smart way to find out the deepest hole on the moon is just to flooding the moon with the water, the whole moon, and then rise the temperature of the water on the moon, boiling the water. Well, the deepest hole on the moon will be the one that is the deepest one. So the last hole in the moon where the water remains is the deepest hole on the moon. Well, this approach is the approach of the Hamiltonian quantum computer, which is extremely powerful, and so which is the real problem. The real problem is that I have to change the mathematical problem associated with the cryptocurrencies, SHA 256, into another problem that is the surface, to shape the surface of this moon. Well, this swapping in problem is called, write the Hamiltonian of the associated problem. So if we are able to write the Hamiltonian of the problem, well, we have a powerful machine, powerful technology to solve this problem. This is the way that the smart people are working on to try to breach, the cryptocurrencies and the all technologies associated with it.
And in terms of what do we see in terms of like the public itself? Because you said that this is what smart people are working on. Is it something that the public will see an impact, or? Of
course. Well, of course, the first impact will be, impacting newspapers. So the people will read some, paper that say, okay, we breach this technology or this other technology. But unfortunately, when we reach the goal with this technology, this is will be so it's called the quantum day. So we will destroy most of the technology that today we use for.
Can you just explain what a quantum day, if no one knows in the audience?
I don't know.
Just like what quantum day means. What is
Oh,
the key
okay.
day? Yeah,
Well, the quantum weight means, okay, there are many definitions. The most common definition is when the quantum computer will be able to solve and breach the cryptocurrencies. Mainly, most of the, the people are working to breach the Bitcoin because it's one of the easiest way to technology to breach from the quantum computer perspective, of course. And then the quantum day is the day where a company or a industry or US or China will declare or will demonstrate that they will be able to breach the cryptocurrencies technology. So that's the day.
And do you think that we are preparing well enough for this quantum day, or what do you think are some of the steps that companies are taking in the space right now?
Unfortunately, of course not, because there are most of the people that still believe that the technology are enough resistant to the quantum computer. There are someone that is working to introduce some quantum resistance, but it's not it's not into the backbone of the technology. It means, for example, if you consider the bit 360, they're just introducing some robustness into the quantum technology, but only into the last mile of the transaction. But because, for example, Bitcoin is based on dash function, and dash function still is the backbone of the technology, this is the weakness that we can address with the quantum computer. And it's very interesting to know that most of the people are not aware about the technology of the quantum computer itself, because typically the people knows and read the performance about so I don't know, IBM or Rigetti or IonQ, which is technology based on the quantum gate paradigm. And on this kind of technology, there are a lot of things that we still need to be discovered or solved before to make available the quantum computer. That, by the way, this kind of technology is Turing complete. It means that it can solve any kind of problems. But the most unknown technology is the one that I described before. So the one based on the Hamiltonian, and for the simple reason that to run with this Hamiltonian quantum computer, you need to be an extremely skilled in math, in a special field of the math that is not very common. You need to know, I don't know, the Hamiltonian, so the Hilbert space or Banach space. So there are special, very complex part of the math that is not very common. Also into the mathematician community. That's the reason why we don't know very well what those kind of guys are working on, and which is the status of the art, and for in order to breach the cryptocurrencies technology, generally speaking.
Yeah, so it's actually an actual development of the knowledge itself of the space of the technology. And could AI help in this if humans could not develop fast enough to keep up with the development itself, and we just leave it to AI that they process these complex mathematical problems that you were talking about?
Yeah, the AI, of course, will be one of the components to increase. But it's strange and weird that the real problem that you have today, we don't have the right math to solve the problem associated with the quantum computer. So just for tell you one simple example, the Hamiltonian equation that I described before, the one that described the surface of the moon, must have another mathematical characteristic, which is called Hermitian. It means that so the metric associated with the equation and the transport of the 9th degree of the matrix must be equivalent. And the reason is because into the quantum computer universe, there are infinite more solutions that what those solutions can be represented into the real world. So technically, into the quantum computer, there are some solutions that we cannot take out from the quantum computer, because the space inside the quantum computer, the space of a solution inside the quantum computer is extremely larger than the space of the universe, the real universe that we have, So doesn't exist the things that we can measure. Imagine, for example, people that never seen the color, is totally blind since he born, In which way you can describe to this guy, which is the color red, So that's the problem. The solution inside the quantum computer are extremely more complex than the one that we describe. Then that's the reason why we need to write an equation that not only describe the surface of the moon, but must have an equivalent into the real world in a way that we can measure the solution inside the quantum computer.
It translates,
so that's,
basically.
yes, yes. So translating something that we can physically measure, associated with the spin. So it's a very complex, the main problem is into the mathematical field, not into the science. This seems strange, but that's true.
Okay, thank you very much for this deep dive. Going back to the RWA side, so we spoke a little bit on, let's say, the way, the threat within like the Q day. If we go back to that 400 trillion market, how are we approaching the 400 trillion RWA market?
Yeah, despite the fact that the Q day, someone today say that will be sometime between 2030-32. People are not scared. The company are tokenizing asset all over the world every day. And I think that the important thing to understand now is that around the RWA concept, which is a very wide concept and very wide application, there are companies are building tools for that. So, in my opinion, one of the best tools for this is provided, for example, by Chainlink CCIP. Recently, they announced also the digital identity, so the CCID. So the possibility to have a digital ID, like we have seen in the space, many of them provided by Polygon, provided by other chains, and have the ability to move cross-chain those digital identity. And this is fundamental because I seen also yesterday that one of the problem is fragmentation. So we have a bunch of tokenization of Solana on Ethereum itself, on L2 of Ethereum, on Avalanche, and so on. And I think that Chainlink is going into the correct direction, so they are providing an interoperability framework also for the digital identity.
So in this case, do you think that it would be easier to indeed have like have more like bridges and make the entire space more interoperable, or to actually add a layer underneath in which like all different chains rely on for tokenization specifically?
No, the digital identity is something that in many regulatory framework are needed. For example, in MiCAR, it's something that is extensively approached. So what we are seeing is that there are different digital identity on top of the chains or even the layer 2. And at the moment, those identity can just work on that chain. For example, if I have my digital identity on Polygon, I keep using on Polygon, and the possibility to use my to use a cross-chain mechanism to use my preferred digital identity into another chain is something that will be a game changer for that. And as a second tool that I've seen very important in this process are the verification layer. I want to make a simple example because it's a topic that is really complex to explain. We have been working with TrueBit, which is one of the verification layer, emerging verification layer, for years. And the most important use case that I've seen during this past month is the proof of fund. So, for example, I want to have a simple example. I want to have a mortgage, and with the new regulatory, I can provide my cryptocurrency as a collateral for my mortgage. And but I want to provide the proof of the fund in cryptocurrency without providing my public address, basically. But the bank want to be sure that I own this fund. So using a verification layer, it's possible to provide this information to third parties with extremely with 100% security on the privacy of my wallet, of my funds, especially if I have a huge amount of funds. And these tools, that there are many use cases beside that, but the digital identity tool and the verification layer tool are something that are very promising to make this growth still faster.
And do they use zero knowledge proof, or how the encryption itself work? And then I'm gonna also ask like a follow-up question in your hand, like, because if we find these very useful applications, but then we have a big threat on the quantum side, how encryption is going to change. But first, encryption as of now, and then encryption later.
Yeah, there are very different patterns of using the verification layer. Some of them use ZK proof. Some others does not use ZK proof, but use some kind of TLS notary technology. And I can already say that any of this technology could be breached by the quantum computer tomorrow. So I can tell you that for sure. Even I'm not an expert, but yeah, there are many of them, and any of them is basically based or on ZK proof or digital signature algorithm.
Okay, so the big question, as we move towards quantum, how are these encryption model going to be challenged, and what could be the potential solution here?
Well, from the quantum computer, but this is generally speaking with the whole computer. So it's not important which is the name that we associated with the encryption, because the things that we need to create those kind of encryption is to have a hard asymmetrical mathematical problem. It means that we need to have a problem that from mathematical perspective is easy in one direction and must be extremely hard in the opposite direction. So the first used was the prime factorization, so the prime number factorization, which it's very easy to multiply two prime number, but if I give you a very large number, it's very hard to understand which was the original prime number for create the larger one. Well, this is very common, way to encrypt, and it is called RSA-like or those technologies. So then there are only two more different hard asymmetrical problems that we can use. The second one is the. Oh, okay, sorry. Okay. So then there are three main mathematical asymmetrical problems that. Yeah, it's okay. Good. So then from mathematical perspective, and also this is true also for the quantum computer, independently which is the name or the practical algorithms that we want to use, it's very important to understand which is the mathematical problem behind the encryption method that we are using. And typically today we have just three main asymmetrical, hard asymmetrical mathematical problems. The first one is the factorization problem, the prime factorization problem. The second one is the elliptical curve. It's called also like integer logarithm. And the third one, which is the latest generation of the mathematical asymmetrical method for encrypting the information, is the lattice problems. Well, the first two problems from the quantum computer are extremely easy because we already have a way to afford this problem. Rather than the grower that can be used, so grower is a mathematical algorithm that can be placed on the quantum computer that divide by 2 the size of the key. Imagine that you have a size of 256. Using grower in any kind of problems, we can divide by 2 this number. So finally, all sides of the key, independently which is the mathematical problem associated with it, using grower, we can divide by 2 those sides, so the sides of the key. This is a very important advantage, but it's not enough alone. Well, the first two problems that I described, elliptical curves and the prime factorization, can be solved on the quantum computer using what is called the quantum Fourier transform. So if we have, and in some cases we have, not completely, but we have in some cases, the Fourier quantum transform, the Fourier quantum transform can be used to solve the first two. Well, which remain? Remained only the lattice problem, that is the one that NIST is using, that released recently for the encryption and for identification problems, that cannot be solved with the standard methods that you have with the quantum computer. So for the moment, they are still safe, but using the approach that I described before, the surface of the moon, the Hamiltonian approach of the problem, also these kind of post-quantum algorithms, the one that is by NIST, are possible to be attacked by the quantum computer. So finally, so today we don't have the definitive solution unless we change totally the paradigm of the encryption methods, that there are something on the table that we can eventually describe, but for the moment doesn't exist an asymmetric encryption method that can be theoretically robust against all quantum computers technology.
So it's an overall like evolving process that as we discover and technology improves as well, also we will find new problems and we will need to seek for new solutions, and it's like a constant cycle, basically.
Yeah, and it's strange because the problem is not the hardware. Even if the hardware is growing, we are improving the number of the qubits and so on, but the main problem is into the math. And we are having a very strong and important advancement in knowledge in math, especially in this field that was totally out of the standard mathematical field.
Okay, thank you. Very interesting, and maybe a little bit deep in the technicalities as well. Since we're in Italy, I would like to bring the conversation to our country. So starting from the RWA space, what kind of use cases do you see in Italy specifically, and what kind of activation has been happening in this space?
Yeah, I know that in Italy something is moving. I can guarantee that other countries are moving faster. As usually happens, unfortunately. But I want to be positive on that, since I know that some people are just talking with the governments, trying to simply make them understand, because most of the cases the problem is that there is a very little understand of what is happening in the blockchain space, which is a word that for many people is still unknown. For what is my experience, for sure there are even here many people that are working hard to make this happen. I'm not saying in the room, but I saw them around, and hopefully something will be moving. As of today, I'm not sure that, for example, we are capable as a company to tokenize gold. For example, I'm not sure that could be possible in Italy. I know that there are common problems that are not only related to the Italian legislation, but for example, in real estate, tokenizing an apartment or a building is something that is still a work in progress from certain matters of multi-proprietary resolution. So we need to wait a little bit for the law to be adapted to this world that is growing very, very fast, and hopefully also Italy will make this move, because, for example, I know that the Stuttgart Stock Exchange is starting tokenizing corporate bond, so it's something that I hope that will happen also in Italy very soon.
Thank you. And if we move on the quantum side instead, what are your thoughts on this Q day? He said 2032. How do you see the road towards Q day?
Well, there are someone that talking about 5 years. Someone.
Maybe 2.
Yeah. Well, there is a part of the world that we don't know what they are doing. For example, China, because China stopped to share the latest research that they doing in quantum computer. So finally, according what the most important quantum company are doing in let's say Europe and US, 5, 6 years, 10 years. So of course there are many, so this timing, it's very debate. This is my so that's my guess. It's my personal opinion. Of course I can wrong, but that's more or less the number that the people are talking about.
And maybe more of a challenge question, and more like comes from a curiosity as well. Do you think that hackers would access quantum computers way earlier than the actual companies who's gonna protect us from like quantum attacks, like cyber attacks via quantum?
This is a very important point, for the simple reason that today only, for example, Canada allowed to move quantum technology outside the border. Of course, US and UK and of course China do not allow to move those technology outside of the border. Finally, we have a very tiny window as a Europe and Italy to have a quantum technology available for the future, or otherwise we will be, so we will, let's say, we will feel the effect of what the other will do. And on the protection side, because so this is into the attacking side, so create something that can attack. But into the protection side, we already have the tools that we can use for do this. For example, one of the technology that we are developing in many scenarios using an approach that is called a Shannon approach. Shannon is a mathematician that described the way to have a pure and perfect encrypted communication between 2 points. And if the communication match two main requirements, the size of the key must be the same length of the size of the message, which absolutely out of the, so we use the very short keys, and the key is a pure random number, so based on the quantum computer, or is a perfectly random number. And so there is another requirement that's more sophisticated, but it's not very important. Also, it's important, but it's not like the first two. The message must have a pulsive autocorrelation. It's a mathematical problem. But if we match these 3 requirements, the communication is perfect. It means that even if you have the perfect quantum computer with the infinite sites, infinite computational power, it would be impossible to breach it. That's the key for the future to create the currencies and decryption communication.
Well, at least it's good to know that we know where are we driving towards and what would be like the perfect scenario. So we know the steps. We just need to do those steps. Basically,
Yeah,
do you want to add something?
I want to make a question, because we talked before about what Italy can do for the RWA, but
For quantum?
Yeah, I'm on the Italian table that is defined the quantum strategy for the Italian government, and that will be released, I think, 1 week ago, and then it is available on the website, and simultaneously also the European EU released the EU quantum strategy. Into these strategies included also the protocols that we have to develop in order to have a well protection against the quantum computer. It's not a perfect, because it's things that must be done step by step, but at least the first step is a very good step that I strongly believe that we have to follow it.
Okay, good. Well, it's good to see that at least there are some steps also from the EU side and in the research side. I think we have some room for a couple of questions, if any. No? Perfect. Well, we were super clear. You were super clear then. Thank you very much, and hope you enjoyed the rest of the panels. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.